If her beauty can make you accept disrespect, she does not respect your strength. She is measuring your weakness. Folks, let's be honest. A lot of men lose their masculine frame the moment a woman gives them attention, warmth, or sexual tension. She looks at him the right way, touches his ego, makes him feel wanted, and suddenly he starts tolerating things he would never accept from anyone else. She cancels plans carelessly. She speaks with a tone that cuts. She pulls affection away, then expects him to chase. And because he wants access to her beauty, her body, her approval, he explains, argues, apologizes, and tries to earn back the respect he should have protected from the start. My friend, that is where the mistake begins. Respect is not something you beg for after it is gone. Respect is something you teach through what you allow, what you refuse, and how quickly you remove access when someone mishandles your presence. A Stoic man does not scream. He does not beg. He does not write long emotional messages trying to prove his value. He moves silently. He withdraws attention. He stops explaining. He redirects his energy. He upgrades his life. He shows no emotional recoil, not to punish her, but because his peace is not open to disrespect. In this video, you will learn 10 silent moves that make her think twice before disrespecting you again. You will learn how to protect your dignity, hold your masculine frame, and make respect non-negotiable. Subscribe now for more Stoic lessons on self-control, attraction, and masculine power. Let's get into it. Number 1. Remove her access. Here is the first move, folks. When a woman disrespects you, do not rush to argue, explain, or prove your worth. Remove her access, not with anger, not with revenge, not with some childish silent treatment. You simply stop giving your time, attention, warmth, and emotional energy to someone who has shown she does not know how to handle it. Let's be real. A woman learns how much access she has by watching what you tolerate. If she cancels plans carelessly and you still chase. If she speaks to you with a sharp tone and you still apologize. If she flirts with disrespect and you still act grateful for her attention, then you are teaching her that beauty, chemistry, or a little feminine warmth can make your standards bend. Take Daniel, 53, from Dallas. He had been seeing Michelle, 47, for several months. Michelle was attractive, confident, and knew how to create heat with just a look. Daniel liked her. He liked her laugh, her style, and the way she made him feel wanted. But she had a pattern. She would cancel plans late, make little jokes about his age in front of friends, then come back sweet the next day like nothing happened. For a while, Daniel explained. He told her it bothered him. He tried to make her understand. He gave her chances because the attraction was strong, but each time he talked, nothing changed. Michelle learned that Daniel might complain, but he would still answer. He would still plan. He would still give access. Then one Friday, Michelle canceled dinner 40 minutes before they were supposed to meet, saying she was tired. Later that night, Daniel saw she was out with friends. The old Daniel would have sent a long message. He would have asked why. He would have tried to expose the disrespect. This time he did something stronger. He stopped giving access. No angry speech, no insult, no emotional performance. When she texted the next morning like everything was normal, Daniel replied calmly, "I do not continue with people who disrespect my time." Then he stepped back. No chasing, no checking, no trying to make her feel guilty. His absence became the message. That is what most men do not understand. Access is the real currency. If she can disrespect you and still get your conversation, your attention, your effort, your late-night replies, and your masculine presence, then your words mean nothing. But when access ends where disrespect begins, she finally meets a boundary she can feel. My friend, this is not about punishing her. It is about protecting yourself. A Stoic man does not waste breath begging someone to value what they just mishandled. He controls what belongs to him: his time, his attention, his response, his presence. He does not control her behavior. He controls her access to his life. That is where quiet power lives. and it is stronger than any angry explanation. So when disrespect shows up, do not become dramatic. Become clear. Pull back your availability. Stop rewarding low effort. Stop offering emotional warmth to someone who treats it carelessly. Let your absence teach what your speeches could not. If she wants closeness, she must meet the standard. If she wants your attention, she must respect the man giving it. Nothing else is leadership. The right woman will feel the boundary and respect it. The wrong woman will test harder, mock it, or call you cold. Good, let that reveal her. Either way, you keep your dignity. If you are done giving access cheaply, comment this: I remove access. Stick with me, because the next part will show you why walking away silently carries more power than any argument ever could. Number 2. Walk away silent. Let's be honest, folks. When a woman disrespects you, the weakest move is trying to win a debate with someone who already crossed a line. You start explaining your feelings. You start listing what she did. You start building a case like a lawyer standing in front of a judge. But my friend, the moment you argue for basic respect, you have already lowered yourself. Walking away silent is not weakness. It is discipline. It is the quiet decision to stop giving your voice to a situation that has already shown you enough. A man with self-respect does not need to convince a woman that disrespect is wrong. He simply removes himself from the space where disrespect is being offered. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That line belongs here. If she becomes cold, you do not become cruel. If she becomes disrespectful, you do not become dramatic. If she plays with your emotions, you do not become a man who throws his emotions all over the room. You stay above the pattern. You leave without becoming the thing you are walking away from. Understand this clearly. Silence is powerful only when it comes from self-command. If you go silent hoping she panics, that is still need. If you go silent to punish her, that is still attachment. If you go silent while checking your phone every 5 minutes, waiting for her to feel guilty, that is not strength. That is anxiety wearing a stoic mask. Real silence says something different. It says, I saw what happened. I do not need to debate it. I do not need to beg for correction. I do not need to perform pain so you understand my value. My decision is enough. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. When disrespect hits, your first impulse may be to react. You may want to send the paragraph. You may want to make her feel ashamed. You may want to prove you are not weak. But a free man does not obey every impulse. He pauses. He breathes. He chooses the move that protects his dignity tomorrow, not the move that feeds his wounded ego tonight. This is where walking away silent becomes masculine. You do not slam the door. You do not announce your departure like a performance. You do not say you will regret this because that still reveals you need her reaction. You simply stop participating. Your energy leaves the table. Your attention leaves the room. Your presence becomes unavailable to disrespect. Let's be real. Some women will not believe your standard until they feel your absence. Words may sound negotiable. Silence backed by action does not. When you walk away calmly, she is forced to meet the consequence of her behavior without your emotional noise distracting from it. But remember this, my friend. Walking away silent is not about making her chase. If she does, you still evaluate her actions with clear eyes. If she does not, you still win because you kept your self-respect. The victory is not her regret. The victory is that you did not betray yourself just to keep access to her beauty, warmth, or attention. So when the line is crossed, do less, speak less, explain less, leave cleaner. Let your silence carry the weight your anger never could. A man who can walk away without a show becomes difficult to manipulate because he has proven that his dignity does not need permission. If you can walk away with control, comment this: I leave quietly. Stay tuned, because the next part will show you why chasing closure often keeps you trapped inside the very disrespect you should be leaving behind. Number 3. Kill the closure trap. Here is the trap, folks. After a woman disrespects you, Your mind may tell you that you need one final conversation, one last explanation, one clean ending. You tell yourself you need closure, but many times what you really want is another chance to be heard by someone who already showed you she was not listening. Let's be real. Closure can sound mature, but it can also become a leash. She cancels on you, talks down to you, plays hot and cold, or treats your presence like it is guaranteed. You finally step back. Then the hunger starts. You want to ask why. You want her to admit she was wrong. You want her to understand how much patience you gave. But the more you chase that conversation, the more you hand her access again. Take Marcus, 51, from Atlanta. He had been seeing Heather, 45, for 4 months. Heather was attractive, witty, and knew exactly how to make a man feel chosen when she wanted him close. But she also had a pattern. She made sharp comments in public, ignored messages when she was upset, then came back warm enough to pull Marcus in again. After one dinner where Heather embarrassed him in front of another couple, Marcus decided he was done. He went quiet, stopped planning dates, and took his attention back. But 3 days later, he felt the pull. He wanted closure. He wanted to explain that her words had crossed a line. He wanted one final talk so he could leave, feeling understood. So he called her. Heather answered calmly, then twisted the conversation. She said he was too sensitive. She said she was only joking. She asked why he always made things heavy. Within 20 minutes, Marcus found himself defending his reaction instead of standing by his boundary. That is the closure trap. My friend, when disrespect is clear, closure is often already present. The behavior was the explanation. The pattern was the answer. Her inability to take responsibility was the final sentence. You do not always need another conversation. Sometimes you only need the courage to accept what the behavior already revealed. A Stoic man understands that peace does not come from forcing someone else to validate his pain. Peace comes from alignment with his own standard. If you know the line was crossed, then act like you know. Do not keep returning to the person who crossed it, asking them to confirm that you are allowed to leave. This does not mean you never communicate. If the relationship is serious, if respect still exists, if both people are willing to speak honestly, then a calm conversation has value. But when the pattern is disrespect, deflection, blame and manipulation, more talking becomes self-betrayal, dressed up as maturity. So kill the closure trap. Do not send the paragraph. Do not ask for the final meeting just to hear the same excuses in a softer voice. Do not reopen the door because you want her to see your heart. Your heart is not a courtroom exhibit. Your dignity does not need her signature, and your self-respect does not need to be approved by the woman who tested it first. The strongest closure is action. You remove access. You stop feeding the connection. You return to your work, your body, your purpose, your friends, your peace. You let time prove that your boundary was real. And if she ever comes back with true accountability, you evaluate from strength, not from hunger. If you are done chasing closure, comment this: I close doors. Let's keep going because the next part will show you why leveling up quietly makes your absence louder than any emotional speech. Number 4. Level up quietly. Here is the move most men talk about, but few actually do, folks. When a woman disrespects, you do not turn your growth into a performance for her eyes. Do not post every workout. Do not announce every new habit. Do not build your comeback around proving that she lost something. Level up quietly. Let's be honest. After disrespect, the ego wants witnesses. You want her to see you looking sharper. You want her to hear that your money is better, your body is stronger, your life is cleaner. You want the silent message to reach her somehow. But if your growth is still aimed at her reaction, then she is still the center of your discipline. That is not freedom, that is attachment wearing a better outfit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That is the entire lesson. Stop arguing in your head. Stop rehearsing what you would say if she came back. Stop imagining her regret. Become the man whose life has moved so far beyond the disrespect that explaining yourself would feel beneath you. A Stoic man does not use pain as a stage. He uses pain as material. He takes the energy that used to go into checking her phone activity, replaying her words, defending himself, and wondering whether she understands, and he redirects it into his body, his work, his finances, his home, his mind, and his discipline, quietly, daily, without applause. And folks, if these lessons are helping you rebuild your frame and become harder to disrespect, consider joining the channel membership. Your support helps keep these Stoic lessons coming for men who want self-control, masculine strength, and real standards. Here is what quiet leveling up looks like. You get your body back under command. You clean up your diet. You train when you said you would train. You improve your wardrobe not to flex, but to respect the man in the mirror. You fix the money leaks. You sharpen your skill. You spend time with men who are building, not men who sit around complaining about women. You also level up emotionally. That may be the part she never sees, but it is the part that changes everything. You stop needing a reaction. You stop measuring your worth by whether she notices. You stop turning disrespect into a story you keep feeding. You learn to sit with silence without running back to the person who created it. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. So say it clearly. I am becoming disciplined. I am becoming calm. I am becoming selective. I am becoming a man who does not return to places where respect has died." Then do what that man would do. My friend, quiet growth is powerful because it cannot be debated. Words can be twisted, anger can be mocked, explanations can be dismissed. But a transformed life speaks in a language nobody can argue with. When she hears your name later, when she sees you calmer, stronger, more focused, and less available to nonsense, she will feel what changed. Not because you begged her to notice, but because real change carries weight without asking permission. But even if she never sees it, you still win. Because the point was never her regret. The point was your return to yourself, your standards, your strength, and your masculine direction again. That is the quiet victory most men never reach, after disrespect forever. If you are leveling up quietly, comment this: I build silently. Stay with me because the next part will show you why upgrading your whole life makes disrespect lose its place in your world. Number 5. Upgrade your whole life. Here is the truth, folks. If disrespect only makes you change one thing, you have not learned the lesson deeply enough. Do not just stop texting her. Do not just stop calling. Do not just act colder for a few weeks and call that strength. Upgrade your whole life, because a man who raises every standard becomes harder to disrespect in the first place. Let's be real. Some men remove access, then return to the same weak routine. Same tired body, same messy home, same low discipline, same lonely weekends, same friends who complain but never build. Then when the woman comes back with a little warmth, he folds because his life outside her is still too empty to stand on. Take Robert, 56, from Phoenix. He had been dating Elaine, 48, a woman with beauty charm and a sharp tongue when she did not get her way. After she mocked him at a dinner party, Robert finally stepped back. At first, he thought silence would be enough. But after a week, he felt the pull to contact her again. Not because Elaine had changed, but because his own life felt quiet, dull, and unfinished without the drama. That realization hit him harder than her disrespect. Robert understood that he had made Elaine too important because too many other parts of his life were underbuilt. His body was softer than he wanted. His business had been coasting. His house felt neglected. His friendships had become shallow. He had confused being available to Elaine with having a full life. So he upgraded everything. He started lifting 3 mornings a week. He cleaned his home like a man who respected his own space. He rebuilt his client list. He took better care of his clothes, his sleep, his food, and his schedule. He called an old friend and started playing golf again on Saturdays. He did not post about it. He did not send Elaine updates. He simply became harder to pull back into weakness. Months later, Elaine reached out with the same soft tone she used when she wanted access again. But Robert was different, not angry, not bitter, different. His life had more weight now. Her beauty still registered, but it no longer overpowered his judgment. Her charm still had a spark, but it no longer felt like oxygen. My friend, that is the power of upgrading your whole life. You stop needing one woman to repair the emptiness you refuse to face. You build a body that gives you confidence. You build work that gives you direction. You build friendships that remind you who you are. You build routines that make your peace stronger than her mood. This is not revenge. Revenge still points at her. This is reconstruction. You are rebuilding the man who no longer negotiates with disrespect because his life finally has too much value to let chaos sit at the table. So upgrade every area. Your health, your money, your home, your mind, your circle, your faith, your emotional control, your appearance, your ability to say no without shaking. When those pieces rise together, your energy changes. You stop looking like a man waiting to be chosen and start moving like a man who chooses what belongs near him. The woman who respects you will feel that upgrade and rise to meet it. The woman who only wanted access without respect will feel it and complain that you changed. Good, you did change. That was the point, and your future will thank you for it later. If you are upgrading your life, comment this: I upgrade everything. Let's keep going, because the next part will show you why stopping your explanations makes your standards impossible to twist. Number 6. Stop explaining yourself. Understand this clearly, folks. The moment you keep explaining your standard to someone who already disrespected it, you start turning your dignity into a negotiation. You think you are creating clarity. You think you are being mature. But sometimes all you are doing is giving her more words to twist, question, soften, or dismiss. Let's be honest. Many men explain because they are still hoping to be understood by the woman who crossed the line. She speaks to him with disrespect, and he writes a paragraph. She cancels plans without care, and he describes why it hurt. She plays hot and cold, and he tries to explain what consistency means. My friend, if a grown woman needs a lecture to understand basic respect, the problem is not your communication. The problem is her willingness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That is the rule here. Say what is true once, if it needs to be said. Then, let your action carry the weight. Do not keep repeating yourself like your boundary becomes stronger with more words. A boundary becomes stronger when your behavior proves it. Here is where men lose frame. She says, "You are overreacting." He explains again. She says, "I was just joking." He explains why it was not funny. She says, "Why are you being so cold?" He explains that he is not cold, he is protecting his peace. Now look at what happened. She disrespected him, and somehow he is the one standing trial. Epictetus said, "Do not explain your philosophy, embody it." That line is built for this moment. If your philosophy is self-respect, embody it. If your standard is respect, embody it. If your rule is that access ends where disrespect begins, embody it. You do not need to announce every move. You do not need to justify every step back. You do not need to convince her that your peace matters. Stopping explanations does not mean becoming rude or emotionally immature. It means choosing clean communication over emotional begging. You can say, "That does not work for me." You can say, "I do not continue" when respect is absent. You can say, "I heard you, but my decision stands." Then stop. No essay, no courtroom speech, no desperate attempt to make her validate your standard. A Stoic man knows that words lose value when they are spent too freely. The more you explain to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you, the smaller you feel. You start defending your tone, your timing, your boundaries, your silence, your pain. And the more you defend, the more she learns that your decision is still open for debate. My friend, let your life become the explanation. Your reduced access explains. Your calm distance explains. Your refusal to chase explains. Your upgraded life explains. Your silence explains. Not the silence of a wounded boy trying to punish her, but the silence of a man who no longer wastes sacred energy trying to teach respect to someone who benefits from ignoring it. This is not silence from weakness. It is leadership over your own energy. When your words stop chasing your presence, regains weight, and the woman in front of you finally feels that your standard is real again today. So stop explaining yourself. Speak once with clarity, then move. If she understands, her behavior will show it. If she does not, your distance will protect you. Either way, you keep your frame. If you are done explaining your worth, comment this: I move silently. Stay with me because the next part will show you how redirecting your energy makes disrespect lose its power over your life. Number 7. Redirect your energy. Here is the truth, folks. When a woman disrespects you, the first thing she takes is not your peace. It is your energy. Suddenly, your mind is replaying the conversation. Your chest is tight. You are thinking of what you should have said, what she meant, whether she will come back, whether you were too harsh, whether you should send one more message. That is the trap. Let's be real. Disrespect keeps winning when your energy stays attached to it. You may stop texting her, but if your mind is still circling her, she still has access. You may say you are done, but if your whole day is built around anger, checking her page, talking about her, and waiting for her reaction, your body has not left yet. Only your mouth has. Take William, 58, from Chicago. He had been seeing Patricia, 51, for almost 6 months. Patricia was attractive, sharp, and knew how to keep a man emotionally hooked. When she was warm, William felt like the strongest man in the room. But when she was irritated, she could cut him with a sentence and then act like he was weak for noticing. After one night where Patricia dismissed him in front of her friends, William finally stepped back. At first he thought silence would fix everything, but for the next week he still lived inside that moment. He replayed her tone while driving. He checked his phone during meetings. He told the story to 2 friends, then told it again. He was not speaking to Patricia, but Patricia was still spending his energy. Then William caught himself. He said, enough. Every ounce of attention I give this disrespect is attention I steal from my own life. So he redirected. Not dramatically, quietly. He went back to the gym before work. He finished a project he had delayed for months. He took his grandson to a baseball game. He cleaned his garage on Saturday morning. He started meeting an old friend for coffee once a week. Patricia did not disappear from his memory overnight, but she stopped being the place where his energy went to die. That is the move, my friend. Redirect your energy before resentment becomes your new relationship. Put it into your body, put it into your money, put it into your home, put it into your mission, put it into people who respect your presence. Do not let a woman's disrespect turn you into a man who only talks about being disrespected. A Stoic man understands that attention is fuel. Whatever you keep feeding will grow. Feed anger and anger grows. Feed obsession and obsession grows. Feed discipline and discipline grows. Feed your future and your future begins to pull you out of the emotional mud. This is not pretending you were not hurt. You may be hurt. You may feel disappointed. You may feel the sting of being treated below your standard by someone you wanted. But pain is not a command. Pain is energy waiting for direction. If you do not direct it, it will direct you. So, redirect fast. When the urge comes to check her page, train. When the urge comes to write the paragraph, work. When the anger rises, walk. When loneliness speaks, call a man who strengthens you. Make your life bigger than the insult. The most powerful message is not that you are angry, it is that your life kept moving without her permission. If you are taking your energy back, comment this: I redirect energy. Let's keep going because the next part will show you why choosing a better circle makes disrespect feel unacceptable, not familiar. Number 8. Choose a better circle. Understand this clearly, folks. A man who keeps weak company will struggle to keep strong standards. You can remove her access, walk away silently, stop explaining and redirect your energy. But if you return to a circle that accepts disrespect as normal, your frame will slowly soften again. Let's be honest, your environment trains your tolerance. If the men around you complain about women but never improve themselves, you will start thinking complaint is action. If they laugh at toxic drama, you will start calling chaos normal. If they tell you to just take her back because she is beautiful, your desire will find support for betraying your standards. That is why your circle matters. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." That line is not decoration, my friend. It is instruction. After disrespect, you need people around you who pull you upward, not people who help you justify going backward. You need men who remind you of your word, your discipline, your purpose, and your self-respect when your emotions are trying to negotiate with weakness. Here is where many men fail. They leave the woman, but they do not leave the environment that made them vulnerable to her. Same lonely routines, same friends with no standards, same late-night drinking, same endless conversations about what she did, same empty weekends where temptation starts looking like connection again. Then one soft message from her feels powerful because his life outside her has not become stronger. A better circle changes that. It gives your standards oxygen. When you spend time with disciplined men, disrespect starts feeling unacceptable, not familiar. When you train with men who keep promises to themselves, excuses become harder to make. When you talk with men who are building businesses, repairing families, strengthening bodies, and leading their lives, you stop wanting to crawl back into a connection that made you smaller. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That includes the thoughts you keep borrowing from the people around you. If your circle thinks weak, you will slowly think weak. If your circle treats discipline as normal, your mind starts expecting more from you. This does not mean you need a huge network. 1 or 2 solid men can change your direction more than 10 weak voices. A better circle may be a gym group, a business mentor, a church community, a men's group, a brother, a coach, or a friend who refuses to let you lie to yourself. What matters is that the room you enter makes you stand taller, not smaller. My friend, attraction is not only built in front of women, it is built in the spaces where women are not present. It is built when men sharpen each other. It is built when your circle holds you accountable before your desire makes another poor decision. A strong circle makes your silence stronger because you are not sitting alone feeding regret. You are moving with men who remind you who you are. And remember this, a better circle does not flatter your pain. It challenges your excuses. It does not keep asking why she did it. It asks what you are building now. That question pulls your masculine energy back where it belongs, into your future, not her disrespect. So choose a better circle. Leave conversations that keep you bitter. Leave friends who mock discipline. Leave rooms where weakness is treated like wisdom. Find men who build, train, lead, pray, work, and recover with dignity. If you are choosing better people, comment this, "I choose better." Stay tuned, because the next part will show you how staying emotionally unmoved makes disrespect lose its power over your frame. Number 9. Stay emotionally unmoved. Here is the move that makes disrespect lose its teeth, folks. When a woman crosses the line, she may expect a reaction: anger, jealousy, a long speech, a wounded face, a desperate attempt to prove you are still the man she should respect. But the moment she sees that her disrespect can pull you out of your center, she knows she still has a handle on you. Let's be real. Staying emotionally unmoved does not mean you feel nothing. You are not a stone. You may feel insulted. You may feel disappointed. You may feel the sting of being treated lightly by a woman whose beauty, warmth, or attention once mattered to you. But a Stoic man does not let the first wave become his behavior. He feels it, names it, and chooses his response like a grown man. Take Harold, 57, from Tampa. He had been seeing Denise, 50, for several months. Denise was attractive, playful, and knew how to use tension. But when she got irritated, She would throw little cutting lines at him in front of others. One night at a small dinner with friends, Harold offered a calm opinion about a business issue, and Denise laughed, saying, "You always think you know everything." The table went quiet. The old Harold would have reacted. He would have defended himself. He would have asked why she said that. He would have tried to win the room back. But this time, Harold stayed still. He looked at her calmly, took one breath and said, "That was unnecessary." Then he turned back to the conversation without making a scene. That silence hit harder than an argument. Denise expected emotion. She expected him to scramble. She expected him to prove he was not hurt. Instead, he gave her a calm boundary without giving her a show. Later, when she texted like nothing happened, Harold did not rush into warmth. He gave short, measured replies and let his access change. My friend, that is emotional control. It is not pretending disrespect is fine. It is refusing to perform pain for someone who created it. If you explode, she can focus on your reaction instead of her behavior. If you beg, she can feel your need. If you write paragraphs, she can drag you into debate. But if you remain calm and adjust, access the disrespect has nowhere to hide. This is why emotional stillness is so powerful. It takes away the reward of provoking you. Some people push because they want to see whether they can move you. When they cannot, they meet a different kind of man. A man who does not need to bark to show strength. A man who does not need to wound back to prove value. A man whose self-respect is quiet, controlled and difficult to shake. So when disrespect appears, slow your body down. Do not tighten your voice. Do not let your face beg for validation. Do not rush to correct every word. Pause, breathe, say less, then act more. Remove attention, reduce access. Step back from the pattern. Let your calm become the wall she did not expect to hit. The strongest masculine frame is not loud. It is steady. It says, "You can disrespect me, but you cannot control me with that disrespect. You can test me, but you cannot pull me beneath my standard." That is the kind of restraint that makes a woman think twice, because she realizes your peace is protected, not borrowed from her mood from this moment forward. If you can stay unmoved, comment this: "I stay unmoved." Don't go anywhere, because the final part will show you how making respect non-negotiable changes every relationship you allow near your life. Number 10. Make respect non-negotiable. Here is the final lesson, folks. Respect cannot be something you request only after it disappears. Respect has to be the rule of entry. If a woman wants your time, your attention, your affection, your protection, your patience, and your masculine presence, then respect is not optional. It is the baseline. Let's be honest. A lot of men treat respect like a luxury. They accept sharp tones because she is beautiful. They tolerate cancelled plans because the chemistry is strong. They swallow public jokes, cold replies, mixed signals, and careless behavior because they fear losing access to her warmth. But every time a man accepts disrespect to keep a woman close, he teaches her that closeness matters more to him than dignity. That is where the old pattern begins. She crosses a line. He explains. She softens for a moment. He returns. Nothing truly changes. Then the line gets crossed again, only this time it hurts less for her to do it, because he has already shown the consequence is small. My friend, you cannot build a strong relationship on weak consequences. Making respect non-negotiable does not mean becoming harsh. It does not mean treating every mistake like betrayal. People have bad days. Good women can be stressed, emotional, tired, or imperfect. The issue is not one human moment. The issue is a repeated pattern where your patience is treated like permission and your kindness is treated like weakness. A Stoic man knows the difference. He does not explode over everything. He does not punish honest mistakes. But when the pattern shows disrespect, he does not keep offering soft access. He speaks once if necessary, then his actions take over. He reduces availability. He steps back. He changes the level of closeness. He lets the relationship feel the weight of the boundary. This is the highest form of silent power, not revenge, not manipulation, not trying to make her suffer. It is self-respect expressed through structure. You are saying with your behavior, I can want you and still refuse this. I can feel attraction and still choose peace. I can enjoy your beauty and still protect the man I have become. Understand this clearly. The woman who belongs near you will not need disrespect to feel powerful. She may challenge you. She may disagree with you. She may have strong emotions, but she will not repeatedly humiliate you, toy with you, dismiss your boundaries, or treat your presence like something guaranteed. A woman who respects you may not always be easy, but she will not make self-abandonment the price of connection. So make respect the standard before desire speaks too loudly. Decide what you do not accept. Write it in your mind, like law. I do not accept contempt. I do not accept repeated dishonesty. I do not accept public humiliation. I do not accept affection used as control. I do not accept being treated like an option while giving husband-level energy. Then live by it, quietly, consistently, without needing applause, because the